everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and I'm really glad you're here today. I really stepped in it with the gold palette. I filmed a whole entire video of comparisons and swatches and all that stuff, like the really basic stuff, and I did a look and it was your typical like let me show you the makeup kind of video, and we compared it to the OG. I was editing the first one and the whole, I don't know what happened to like the second half of the video, but it was just black. Then I filmed it a second time. My camera, for some reason, was on slow motion and there was no sound. So I had a whole video of the second time filming it of just, and I thought I was going to lose my mind. But actually, I've done a lot of thinking and I'm kind of going to turn lemons into lemonade today. This was a holiday palette and I filmed a video showing you guys all of these and talking about how the formulas are, and we took some guesses about what would be happening in the new palette. I was sad that the teals were gone. That was like a real draw for me because I don't know, that was like a really cool color and I thought it was beautiful, and like this topper of golden pearliness. So these were just such interesting shadows. And Natasha's formulas have changed over time. I buy all of her palettes, so I just want to say that first. I mean, I am a diehard Natasha Denona fan. She was the first makeup artist that blew my mind, that created these amazing palettes. Her palettes are the ones that I reach for. They really and truly are. If I'm looking for like a reliable shadow, I'm going for the Natasha. It's just how I am. I really loved this holiday palette. I thought the colors were so cool. The greens. And then, these browns were gorgeous and they were like all different tones, and it was just really interesting. Different textures that she uses. The formulas have changed. She retired that palette. There was also a mini gold. I couldn't find that one online either, except on like the secondary market, like people reselling. This is the little mini. And it had some of those greens that are kind of reminiscent of the Yucca palette. Because when we got the Yucca palette, we really did get a lot of those tones. So when the Yucca palette came out, it's almost like the continuing story of the mini. They just really had those same kind of colors. And it was like a more modern take on her gold palette. The metallics in this palette are ridiculous. I mean, they just were so innovative, and there we go. I mean, look at this. The different shades, the different tones, the different depths that she uses. It's just like an adventure when you go into her palettes. And I love the fact that she's like a self-taught makeup artist who learned her craft because she was a dancer and they had to do their own makeup, and she found that she was great at doing the makeup for everybody. Put a school together and created palettes that were revolutionary. And, a lot of people really loved Metropolis. Because if you're looking for those teal colors and the blues, you're going to find them in Metropolis. This palette is so warm, I have a hard time wearing it. I've tried look after look after look. I can borrow a shade here and there, but this never did for me what it did for so many people. And I started thinking about it, like the other gold palette, I'll be honest with you, I did a look and it was pretty, you know, it was a nice look, but I think that for some people, this brand new gold palette, which I'm going to try not to blind you, but it's so beautiful. I mean, the packaging, it's just one of the coolest looking palettes that I've seen. And you open it up and honestly, it is so pretty and cohesive and kind of a way to sort of do the monochromatic thing, but in interesting ways. Let me show you the metallics really quick from this palette next to the ones from Yucca. Just want to show you. It's not going to be all of them. Let's just start here. If you look at them, they definitely very, very warm. This is from Yucca. And then on this side, we just have these really, really warm tones. I know that these colors are not for me. I really did like some soul searching, I have to tell you. Like after I saw what I'm going to show you right now, I have thoughts about palettes in general that I wanted to share. And I know you guys can get the swatches from wherever, and I'll show you some of the shades. I'm not going to sit here and do like the whole swatching thing because I'm like a little late to the party right now. But I have some things to say. When the Glam palette came out, it was like my neutral dreams had come true. These colors for me were perfection. Anytime I had somewhere fancy to go or, you know, some kind of event, this was my gal. I mean, she and I have had a lot of rodeos together. We've definitely done it. Let me show you these. Wow, these are so good. I am going to swatch some things, but I'm going to kind of look at this through a different lens. Let's do a few of these just so you can get an idea. There's just a sample of the metallics from the Glam palette. And you'll see that she's really got a lot of different colors going through here, and their colors are more neutral. There's some that lean warm, some that lean cool. And I think that's why this palette was so great for me. And I think that the people who have the kind of skin that I have where you can see my blue veins and I'm covering up, you know, blue veins on my face. I'm a very pink person. I look better in mauves and plums and rosy tones than I do anything that gets kind of warm. Just looks orange on me, you know? That palette, if I had to pick one in the whole world, it would have been the Star palette. A beautiful demonstration of some pretty warm tones that are also mixed in with some cooler colors. Such a favorite of mine. But like she even did things like this where the colors were kind of like the same strength, but one's warm and one's cool. I mean, the palette is so genius in its color selection, and I love pulling from it. When the I Need a Nude palette came out, I dropped this, so I'm like freaking out that something's going to fall out of here. But when I got this palette for the first time, I looked at it and I was like, hello, where have you been all my life? I look at these tones and you can see them up here. You guys know this didn't necessarily lean cool. It had a rosiness, and I kind of started to think about that rosiness. When you watch these people who create makeup, they have stories behind what they're choosing, and it's a very personal journey for them, I think. And I don't think it's like for us to decide, because if I had my dream Natasha Denona palette that I don't already own, it would be the Platinum palette. And it would be silvers and taupes and navies and burgundies and like some, really beautiful, deep jewel tones and lots of different kinds of metallics that are more like platinum in feel. And I think that because that's what would look better on my skin. When I look at the new gold palette and I look at the I Need a Nude palette, I feel like we have two I Need a Nude palettes here. And the reason why I think that is because we've got a golden and we've got a rosy. And what I learned from Phytosurgence, from Jason and Tom, is that we all really do love the same things. But those of us who are cooler in tone, we have different needs than the people who have warmer tone skin. This has nothing to do with anything except for the temperature of your skin. I feel like you're either in Camp Rosy or you're in Camp Gold, and then there are those few lucky people who are the middle, the neutrals. They can go either direction, and they probably love both of these palettes so much. Initially, when I was looking at the gold palette, I thought, wow, there are some tones in here that are not pulling as warm. This is good, because something like this on me is not going to look gold. It's going to look orange. It's like my face is saying no. Like, don't do this to me. When she had the greens in here, I had a place to go to have some of the tones that look great on me. I don't know that that's happening with the golden palette, but here's the thing. There have to be people out there right now thinking this is finally here. It is their nude palette that they have been waiting for. It's got those golden tones, the beautiful browns, the beautiful golds that look so good on warmer skin tones, on olive skin tones, but on me with my cool, very, like, even with bronzer, and the bronzer that I wear is a rosy one because I'm in Camp Rosy. We have two I Need a Nudes here. I think that the word nude is so problematic at this point. I think it kind of conjures up a time where we weren't including everybody when we were saying nude. You'd see a nude in something, and I'm not saying that Natasha did this because she made a nude for everybody. I mean, that was the whole point. The word nude is problematic because it doesn't just take into account what you prefer to wear. It's what's going to actually look good on you. I am going to take what I feel like are probably the cooler tones of the palette. And they're really not all that cool. There is a definite warmth. I mean, Log, that's a very grounding color. You can see that it's definitely a deeper tone. And this one on top here is sort of a brown metallic. At least I could kind of go there. When I swatch, let's just do these three on the bottom. I've got Aurum, Aura, and Alchemy. And that is what those look like next to the ones that I picked out that I could kind of go to. On the Rosy side, and we're going to put them on the other hand. We'll just start with these. We got more of them, but you can see that these colors are going to do it for me. And when I hold up this arm, you can see where this would just kind of be like almost silly on me. Let's look at some of the mattes. Here's some of the mattes from the Rosy. You immediately, even though they're warm, they're all rosy enough for my skin so that my face isn't like afraid. Whereas immediately they're warm. And when you look at these, instead of seeing golden, you're seeing orange next to those, even though they're not orange shades. But it's what happens on a cooler skin tone. This just isn't it's not a natural place for me to go. So I learned from Phytosurgence that you can make everybody happy as long as you have a Rosy and a golden. And so I feel like for the people in the warmer tones and the more olive tones, these are going to be so good on you. These are going to be gorgeous. You're going to be able to wear them well. They're going to be immediately beautiful on your skin. And it's going to be the perfect fit. The same way that people have said, this is their perfect palette. It is everything that they need. The colors look great on them. And I feel like we have two I Need a Nudes. We have the golden version and the Rosy version. And if you really want to get technical about it, you kind of have like another warm one with the greens that you can pick up, even though these are more of like the olivey tones. You have a lot of them and can really have fun. And if you have Metropolis, you can go into those really, really deep tones. And then there are the people who probably were just fine with Glam and used it and used it and used it. And it's very, very neutral. It is like that middle ground of colors, metallics. You do really get a variety when it comes to the shimmers. I mean, you have some, put them over here, that are warm and some that are more rosy or cool. I think you have your neutral nude. You've got your Rosy nude, and you've got your golden nude. I think that if I had to say to somebody, if you have to start over and you have no makeup, what would be your first purchase? For me, it's going to be these. And then I think for some people, it's going to be these. Some people may love this combo because it brings in the greens. But for me, if I had to choose 2 palettes for the rest of my life, it would be very hard to give up the Star palette, but these travel easier, so I didn't want to make a redundant video. There's nothing worse than watching the same things over and over and over on every single channel. And there aren't as many things right now, but there are so many things coming. It's like, it's starting. The craziness is starting. And it's called fall, which is not anything I'm ready to face today. But I think this is a very good exercise in kind of being able to see past, like, I look at the gold palette and I think this is a masterpiece. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. The way that the tones go together, the kind of options that you have, the different depths, the different kinds of shades that she has in here. You really have everything you need if you are a golden or warmer toned person. This is your I Need a Nude. And for those of us in the cooler tones or rosier tones, actually, this is just going to look better on you. And I'm going to do a look with each of them. And we're going to kind of go back and forth. And we're just going to double check and see. I did do a look with me pulling in some cooler tones with this palette, which is kind of cheating. Yeah, I know. But it's how I could use the rest of these colors. I grounded my look with enough of the tones that are not fighting me so that I could wear some of these, because this is a really beautiful palette. But like, you can just see right away that these colors just aren't going to flatter me the way that these will. And again, maybe you're in the camp of neutral, which I think was Glam. Glam was such an amazing palette because at the time we were doing some elaborate looks, and she tried to give everybody kind of a guide of what shades to work, where, where to place them, how to use them. And I thought it was like an interesting choice, but there are so many nudes and so many different combinations that could be nudes that I think that there was room and a necessity even to bring back this palette, because people are going monochromatic. It's just a more modern way that we're wearing shadows. People are doing a lot of one and dones, which has never been my thing. I've heard that eyeshadow is for old people now. I'm good with that. We could all just be old over here and use our eyeshadow, because I love it. I love it. And I love her. And I love that the same person could create such amazing color stories for both the Goldens and the Rosies. And Golden and Rosy is going to be kind of the theme of the day. So I'm going to do a look. Still trying out a new kind of filming setup here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I got a second mirror so I can do both sides on camera for you guys. Hopefully it will be really nice and better. I'm trying to improve. I am going to start with the warm palette, and I'm just going to take that Maliko, which is that first shade, and I'm going to place it all over my lid just so I have a nice surface to work on. I might go back and forth actually, because I think it'll be really interesting if I pick sort of the same kind of level of tones that I'm putting on. So this is Maliko. And in this one, I'm going to take the shade Fair, because it's the lightest matte. I'm going to go this way. I have to remember it's like the reverse. Sorry. Okay. All right. So we've got the two lightest matte shades that we just put on here. Not a big difference yet. I'm going to look for a transition shade. I'm going to take a true shadow that would look like a shadow, because I really want more lid space. So I want to like fake that crease and just kind of take some time to kind of carve this out. And I like to take things up and out. And I'm just going right up against here, and I'm making sure that when my eye is open, that I can see this. And I like kind of that shadowy kind of color. I think it works for me. Over here for a transition, let's go with Sandstone. And I'm just going to place this in the same place. I gotta go this way, sorry. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna get the hang of this. Okay. So immediately, this is starting to really look warm on me. And this side looks like I have like a shadow, which is exactly what I want to have here. Okay, now we're going to need something that's going to kind of cover most of the lid, and then we're going to build out to kind of a smokier look, just because I think that that's fairly popular with people. I'm going to take over here, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take Pana. And just kind of place that on my mobile lid. And then over here, I'm going to take Wit and place that on my mobile lid. So we're starting to see that this is going a little bit more rosy and this is going a little bit more warm. Okay, now I'm not going to have enough clean brushes. I'm going to be like spraying that Jenny Patinkin all over the place tonight. Okay, I'm going to start to build out my crease here and kind of come to deepen this. So I'm going to take that middle shade called Teak. And just kind of take that on just the edge here and pull it out. And I think that kind of a color on me, it works. Okay, on this side, to start to build out, I'm going to take Vague and start to use that to build this side out. I'm trying to take colors that have like the same amount of depth and the same type of formula, if we can do it, just to show you. And I'm going to take the color Log, which is that deep color, and I'm just going to put a little of it here, because I want to do a little bit of smoke. And take that deepest shade and just really smoke it out. Sorry, I'm gonna have to get used to this. It's like the opposite. Okay. So that's Log. On this side, the deepest color is called Silhouette. It's a very cool toned. Looks like a charcoal. And for both of these, we're getting that smoked out effect, which is great. Okay, now I'm going to blend some of this out. I'm going to take the color Flesh and just use this to get rid of any edges that we have. And over here, I'm going to take, I guess, Fair, and use Fair to kind of soften this side. I think I have to go a little bit deeper on this side. Okay, we're making progress. I have like no brushes left. Let's go for the gusto here. I'm going to go with a really warm one. I'm going for the Aura. It's like the craziest gold, beautiful, like 14 karat looking. You're definitely going to want to, I might just go in and apply this with a finger. I think we'll get a better payoff and a better adherence. Okay. So I don't want to do it on my whole lid, but I kind of want it like more than just the center. Things just got a little warmer, huh? All right, over here, I'm going to take a similar in depth and excitement. It looks like Muse is kind of that color for this palette. So I'm going to go into this side and pat on that color, Muse. So this is what we have going so far. Immediately, this looks like I'm, I don't know, going to like a costume party or something. I don't know. I'm going to take Aurum and just go right here, like kind of in the front. I'm going to take Sheen on this side. Just kind of pull that one here. And then I want to use on the gold palette side, I would like to use Aura, which is like kind of that, the white gold shade. I'm going to do it on a brush because I want to kind of pull it over here to sort of give me that inner corner highlight that I'm going to need. And really, it's like a white gold, which is kind of cool. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of that and just kind of tuck it under the brow. Okay, for right now, I think the payoff is okay. Okay, on this side, in that bright area, we're going to go with Mia. And I'm going to take that the same way. This has almost like a pink kind of cast. Definitely in the Rosy family. Okay, now I am famous for finding, I'm not famous. I love to look for something that can kind of go between the deep, dark outside and that middle color. So I'm just choosing some what I think are good shades to put in between. So on this side, I went to Alchemist. This is Alchemist. And then on this side, I did Delilah. So we have like a similar layout going. I want to do a little underneath the eyes. I'm going to take the color Vague first, underneath this one, and bring it up so that I can kind of blend it out. Take a little bit of Fair. That's a good start over there. On this side, I'll go into that Sandstone. And kind of take this around here. And also put a little bit of the Flesh to blend it out. And on this side, we're going to want to really deepen without going the darkest. That outside where the lashes are going to be. And go to Aria. And then we're going to really concentrate that deepest color right there. It's interesting to look at, like here. Those are the two darkest colors. Okay, super interesting. So if you look at the top one, I hope that this registers correctly. The top one has like a very golden kind of undertone. This other one called Silhouette really does have rosiness in it when you look at it. It's not just like a straight up brown. I'm going with the same amount of makeup and the same depth on both sides. So I'm hoping that that happens. I'm going to take Whisper and Fizzy. And I'm going to just dab this again to give just that a little extra something something. Take a little bit of Vague here, just so we can get a little of that rose here. And then I'm going to take Silhouette and just smoke that out. And this side, I'm going to go into Log, smoke that out. It's like I look at, whoa. Sorry, holding stuff in my lap too. I'm looking at both of these, and it's very obvious the point that I'm making. When you look at me here, it's just not working with my skin, my hair, my eyes. There's just something almost garish about this side. Just it's an over exaggeration of something that in these tones, which are the same but different, this looks so normal. Like, I don't feel like I look crazy, even though I have the same kind of makeup and the same amount of makeup on both of these eyes. Let's put on some mascara and see what we think here. We're going to use the Vast Lash to really give us that va-va-boom. This is a new tube that I opened, and it's like, it's the kind of mascara that I like when it gets like a teeny bit thicker. with this mascara, I can get really defined lashes, and I get length, and I get volume. But I have to work on one eye at a time, because when this gets dry, you just can't build on it without making it look really clumpy. And over here, I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to let that be for a second. I always do like a little check when I get my mascara on. I got some over here. That's fun. I definitely would like that to be a little bit higher like that. Over here, just want to make sure we have that same type of tone coming through. Okay, so here is the golden side, and here is the rosy side. And I think it's kind of obvious that we have these beautiful palettes that obviously I'm going to use this and I'm going to love it, and I'm going to incorporate it with other shades, and I could bring in greens, I could bring blues, I could bring kind of the reds would be pretty. I just need to be able to pull in something that I can hold on to and accent the look with these kind of colors. With this palette, I could pretty much close my eyes and grab colors, and I'd probably get lucky and it would work out looking like an okay color. And then I want to further show you. I have to be careful with this highlighter palette because one of these pans came out. So she has the trio of highlighters. I'm not going to hold it up. I'm going to put a picture up over there because I'm worried that it's going to fall again. And I'm going to go into the pearl shade. I don't like a whole lot of highlight. This is the coolest color. I'm going to go with the middle shade because I would never pick that deep one. And put the gold over here. It's called Sun Glow. I'm not like a huge highlighter person. I just like a little bit to kind of fake the youth dew that I'm missing. Okay, let's talk. I think I've like driven the point home, and I'm going to grab the peachy color and this mauvey color just to take a look at these. Are the best, you guys. I love them. These Armani, they are like the greatest thing, and they do not settle into any lines at all. And I'd love to have more shades, like number 50 from the Balm. I love that blush. I think the blush is pretty and it does work, but there is kind of a semi-rosiness to it. All right, let's do a lip on both sides. She has this golden gloss. It hurt. I'm not doing it again. Let me show you. I'm going to put gold on, but it's going to be a gold that I can wear because it's a little less warm, and it also doesn't hurt. I found hers to be painful. I'm not doing it again. Okay, so I have the gold, and then it kind of turns them into like a bright pink color. So I'm going to use I'm going to put a little of the warm tone pink on this side. And there. And I'm going to take a little of the cool tone pink on this side, just because that's what I would do. Okay. I think both of these palettes are nude palettes. I think that we could do a whole thing with Glam also, but I think that we've all used Glam enough to understand that it's a palette for everybody. It really truly is. It's just not necessarily where she told you the transition shade was, because it's a pretty light transition shade. I am like almost hitting pan again on this. I think it's time to get a new one. So my thoughts are, it's a beautiful palette. The colors are amazing. I mean, the way that the mattes are so buttery and her metallics and foils and toppers and all of that are beautiful in both of these palettes. I mean, it's like, it's 100% quality and beautiful. I mean, you know what you're getting, which I love. Like, I love that I know that she's going to have certain things in her palettes that work for me. I'm looking at both of these right now. I would love to see somebody with a gold tone do this. Love to see what happens with the cool tones on them. But it would probably be the same. This on somebody who is warm would almost make it look like a corpse, probably. As loud and crazy as this is like, you know, not good. This side would be if you are fully golden and warm. Yeah. I don't think that we need to really say a whole lot else, but if you own both palettes, I'm curious, in the comments, could you tell us which one of these palettes you find look better on you, or are easier to use, or that you've noticed work better with your skin tone? Or maybe you decided not to pick up one of these because you don't like XYZ. I would love for you guys to really dig in here with me and geek out on like the whole warm and cool tone situation that we have going here, this golden rosy stuff. We really I want to start paying attention to how I could get each of these things to work. If I was to take a warmer tone and work it into this look, it would still be okay. And if I worked a cooler tone into this side, we would figure out a way for that to still be okay also. I think the biggest thing that I've learned from this is that when I look at a palette, I'm looking at temperature, I'm looking at tone, I'm looking at what is going to be available to me in like a sparkle or a frost or a metallic or a duochrome, and what is going to be available to me in the mattes. And I'm going to look at it with eyes that see the rosy side or the golden side. And I want to see how that goes. But I really do think when you do a mix of cool and warm, you're going to be able to wear the palettes. So like if I hold this up, there's definitely colors in here that I want to do when I do my makeup, and some that I'm just going to avoid. If I do this, I'm going to have to put in some colors that work for me and then use the other ones and blend them and kind of hide them inside of the layers. So my thoughts, I think it's really a great thing that we've all come to a place where we know that every palette can't be for us, because we are looking at a full spectrum of not only warm and cool tones, but from the very, 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 very fair to the very, very, very deep. We have people that need those shades. And I think that with an eyeshadow palette, you have the luxury of creating a warm color story or a cool color story. And people like me are going to be drawn to this more rosy side, and people who are warm are going to be more drawn to these. I noticed that like a lot of the creators that I watch that really like the peach blush and the corals, they all have a golden skin tone or, you know, a golden undertone going. And the people who have like that pink are choosing like mauves more and plums, and they love the purples. I mean, there's definitely a realization that there are certain things that look good on us and warm and cool tones, but when you're looking at the whole palette and you're kind of sitting at one like temperature, not tone or color or anything, but the palettes are very similar in their makeup and depth. It's just that one is made for people with cooler skin tones, rosier skin tones, and one is made for the golden undertone and the warmer tone people. Again, if you're neutral, you can probably wear both. But I think if you did this little exercise and you did similar colors on both sides with a warm and a cool, you would have a really good idea of what works best on you. Are you going to be going for that rosy, or are you going for the golden? And that's the moral of my story today. So every palette cannot be for everybody. That's first. I also think it's awesome that there are whole palettes being created now to meet the needs of all the consumers. I personally wish we had a few more cool toned palettes that would come out, or rosier toned palettes that would come out. But I'm sure that if I was looking at it through the lens of I'm a golden, then I'm seeking out these warmer tones, and I'm seeking out the lips and the cheeks and stuff. And I think that's where you're going to see people's comfort zone and what they enjoy wearing and when they evaluate makeup. Now, this gloss that came with this palette, if you have the sensitivity to the way that this makes your lip feel when it irritates it to make it bigger, this is not for you. I like the ones that just plump you up because they're, you know, lots of good skincare in them, rather than burning them. I mean, I already do my lips, so they really don't need to be much bigger. I just had them done, so they're still kind of, they're working themselves out, which is good. But you guys saw, I kind of went back and forth a little bit. Natasha did a really great thing in serving the community these golden tones and this warm color story that's very monochromatic. And the I Need a Nude is pretty temperature-wise, like it's very rosy, and both of these palettes are beautiful, and both of these palettes are nude palettes, and I'm standing by that. But I'm going to start looking at these things with a different eye now, And when I open up a palette, I'm going to be looking for ways that you're going to be presented with different colors, how those are going to look against you, which ones do you think you're going to be using, how many do you think you're not going to be using. These are really pretty colors. It's just that they should be on someone who uses this as their nude. Please sound off down below. Tell us if you own either of these palettes or if you are planning to make a purchase. Did you think about Rosy and Golden? Has this crossed your mind? Do you look at warm and cool tones? I mean, I know that when a palette comes out with cool tones that a lot of people get excited because most palettes skew warm. But I hadn't gotten to the point where it really was going to fight my color until I started thinking about Rosy and Golden. So thank you, Phytosurgence, for teaching me something. I love learning. I think this is just a really good exercise and a really important way to decide when you're looking at something, you know, whether it's on a video or, you know, on the website. What are you looking for if you can't swatch it? You get a chance to hopefully see something that you hadn't seen before, to give enough information that you're able to make better buying decisions. And if these videos that you watch move you in some way and you can see something with new eyes, or look for something that you hadn't before, or do that whole validation thing where you're like, yes, 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 oh my God, yes, you know, that kind of stuff, then I would love for you to shop my links, because that is a way that you guys can tell me that you're supporting the channel. I'm taking all that money and reinvesting it into the makeup that we're going to do here, because I love to share all of the good stuff with you guys. And you know, when you start out as a creator and it's your first kind of dance and rodeo that you're at, you have no PR, zero PR. So clicking on my links on my Shop My Shelf is really helpful, because that money can go right back into the channel to buying more makeup, more makeup, more makeup. Yeah, so I wanted to throw that out there. And you guys, all of the people that you follow, you know, it doesn't cost anybody anything extra to click on a link for somebody that you support and to use their codes or to use their, you know, whatever it is that they're offering. They're doing it because they're trying to earn money for their channel. So just wanted to throw that out there. And the other thing that really helps me is when you give me a thumbs up, it makes the algorithm push out my video to more people, which is great because at the beginning you don't get a lot of action. And if you make a comment and you're interacting, that's another way that YouTube sees that you're having a good time and that you want to stick around and watch my videos. So, having said all of that, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, we would love to have you join our family. I do all kinds of luxury beauty and interesting beauty, like some indie stuff, but I tend to lean more luxury, and what interests me hopefully will interest you. And hopefully I can share some things with you so that you are able to make your buying decisions and decide what's for you, and not to waste your money on something that you're going to push to the side But I want you guys to look at the palettes now and see the rosy and the golden and what best suits you. Tell me what you guys think. Do we have two I Need a Nudes here? I think we do. So we have the golden and the rosy, and everybody's happy, and we can all get together on the Yucca and the Glam palette. I just want you guys to be able to just add a new layer of awareness about these products and how you decide if you're going to buy them or not. That's all I have for you guys today. So thank you so much for being here. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Take care. Bye.